Hello, I'm Alexandra Sleator, Career Accelerator, and that means that I help ambitious, high-performing professionals just like you get their work life right. Whether it's getting out of a rut, and solving a complex problem, or overcoming an obstacle, or finally achieving a personally meaningful goal, such as a promotion you deserve, finding a new role that's more enjoyable, or acquiring new skills so that you can take a step forward in your career. In the preceding video, I shared with you a very simple and yet I hope comprehensive way of performing a self-assessment as to where you stand with respect to achieving your work objectives for 2011. If you missed that video on the so-called 3-list method of performance self-assessment, you can find it by going to the URL which now appears on your screen. Now, if you have indeed undertaken that performance self-appraisal, it's now time to look at follow-up activities. Clearly, the list will serve you very well when it's time to discuss your performance with your line manager, but we're not at that stage yet. And for now, let's look at what you can do to optimize your performance in the last weeks of the year. And really, there are two possibilities at this stage. Either you're doing well, you've met your objectives, and it looks like you will be able to complete the few outstanding tasks that remain to be done. And this is the assumption that I'm going to work with this video. The other possibility, of course, is less positive, and it's one whereby it looks like you will not be able, for a variety of possible reasons, to make all your work objectives for this year. And this delicate situation, how to manage it and how to nevertheless get to a good position by the time that the performance appraisal process rolls in, is one that I will deal with follow-up videos in October. But for today, let's focus on those of you who are in the enviable position that you know you will be in a position to achieve your objectives. So clearly, this last quarter of 2011 could be just about making sure that you finish up those last tasks that are outstanding and complete your work objectives. And at a minimum, you should absolutely do that. But what I want to suggest to you is that there is maybe also for you an opportunity to stretch yourself, to raise the bar a little bit, and therefore to end the year with a flourish. And so this video is about how to set yourself a stretch objective, one or more stretch objectives. And for those of you who know my work, you may recall that at the beginning of the year we discussed how to set objectives, and that I discussed with you the method that I find particularly useful called SMARTY, which is of course an acronym. Now, if you're interested in learning more about SMARTY, you can find that video which details it by following the link which is appearing again on your screen. Let me briefly remind you what SMARTY was about. So it's a series of letters which all stand for something. So the S is for specific, which is encouraging you to go from a vague goal such as I want to lose weight to a very precise, specific goal. Because that will help you, of course, plan how you're going to achieve your goal and then know that you have achieved it when you get there. The M is for measurable, which is that you need to have some sort of metric whereby you know that you've achieved your goal. So, in terms of losing weight, it could mean you want to know that you have lost 10 pounds and you know that you want to lose 1 pound a week, for example. That's the measurable element of goal setting. A is achievable. Sometimes it also stands for ambitious because it's more thrilling for some of us to set ourselves, ambitious goals that are a little bit challenging. By the same token, you want to make sure that you don't raise the bar too high and effectively set yourself up for failure. So really, your goal needs to be pitched at the right level so that they're achievable for you. And that means you need to know your capabilities and possibly enlist some help. The R is for recorded, because there's something about writing down a goal that means that you have less of a chance of forgetting about it, especially if you write it on a post-it, which you have fixed somewhere that you're going to see, like next to your computer screen at work, or on your mirror in your bathroom, so the goal stays front of mind and you don't run the risk so much of forgetting it. T is for time bound, and that's about setting a deadline for your goal, because that helps you stay motivated. The E was for energizing, because it's nice to feel connected to your goal rather than to feel depressed or even overwhelmed. So there are ways that one can make sure one is energized about a goal, because usually goals take some time to do, so it's important to stay in that zone of motivation. And last but not least, the Y of SMARTY stands for yours, because it's important that you own your own goal, even if it originated from somebody else. But if you don't own your goal, you're not going to feel connected, and it's going to be very hard for you to work at a goal that doesn't speak to you directly. So that, in a nutshell, is what SMARTY is about. And again, the URL for that video, which tells you more about SMARTY, is appearing on your screen. And you may want to set yourself new objectives in September. It's interesting because the statistics show that in fact people take a lot of so-called New Year type resolutions in September. For example, more people join gyms in September than any other time in the year, more than January or February, when people are supposed to want to lose weight after the year-end holidays. So if you feel energized after your holiday, you may want to set yourself some new goals, and SMARTY could be of help. But let's go back to the stretch objective, because again, if you have the opportunity, look at impressing your manager by setting yourself and of course achieving a stretch objective. And let's use two components of SMARTY to do that. So here is the three-step process for identifying, articulating a stretch objective. The first step is pick one of your objectives that you still have to complete. And if you're in the very lucky position that you've achieved all your objectives for the year, then maybe have a chat with your line manager or with colleagues and come up with a new objective that you could achieve in the few weeks that remain until the end of the year. Once you have selected one or more objectives, it's time to stretch them. And to do that, let's look at the M and the T element of SMART. So M is the measurable dimension. So if you have a goal that says you need to make, let's say, 10 million as a budget over the year, maybe you could make 11 million. Or if a goal has to do with saving money, maybe you could save more money than was originally planned. If you are asked to speak to clients, maybe speak to more clients than you were asked. So there's a sense that with the measurable angle, you need to deliver some kind of more around the objective. The other way to look at it is the T dimension, which is the time, and there it has to do simply with delivering sooner. So if you have a report that is due in 3 weeks, maybe you can finish it in 10 days and impress your line manager with a wonderful report that you deliver ahead of time. And of course you can combine the M and the T dimension and deliver more sooner. So I hope that this very simple method will enable you to take a look at the objectives that you still have to complete and see whether one or more can be stretched a little bit. And of course, when you stretch, you have to keep A in mind, the achievable dimension. Yes, a stretch goal is more ambitious and it has reward potential, but of course it has a bit more risk attached to it. So make sure that it stays achievable, and again, if you want more about how to make sure a goal is achievable, look at the SMARTY video. I'm sure that will help you. So I wish you very good luck with your stretch objectives, and in addition to achieving your objectives, whether they're stretch or not, it also is very important to communicate around those achievements. And so that is a concept that I call ethical bragging, and I will be coming back to how to brag ethically about what you've done during the year and the difference that it has made to your company when we get closer to preparing for the performance review. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I wish you very well with your objectives for the end of the year, and I'll speak to you next month about how to manage when it looks like you won't be able to achieve all of your objectives that were initially set at the beginning of the year. Thank you very much for watching, and take good care. Bye bye.